compute the cost of goods sold and ending inventory under FIFO. We are looking at this question. On the 31st of March, 6 units of inventory were sold using first in, first out. That implies that the first set of inventories to come in will be the first set to go out. So the first 6 inventory here would be 2 units here, 3 units here, and just 1 unit on the 30th of March. So that would be 2 units at $1, 3 units at $2, then just 1 unit here, which will be at $3. So 2 times 1 will be 2, 3 times 2 will be 6, then 1 times 3 would be 3. If you add all these together, that should be $11. That's for cost of goods sold under FIFO. Now we need to compute ending inventory. To compute ending inventory, we have 4 units left here. So that will be 4 units at $3. So that's 4 times 3, which is 12. That implies that the ending inventory will be $12. Moving on to LIFO, still using the same question. On the 31st of March, 6 units of inventories were sold. As far as LIFO is concerned, the first set of inventories to come in will be the first to go out. Since 6 units were sold, that means these 5 units will be part of cost of goods sold. We have 1 unit left out of the 6 units sold. That means the 1 unit left would be at $2. So for cost of goods sold, 5 units at $3. That's 5 times 3, which is $15. Then the remaining 1 unit at $2. That will be 1 times 2, which is $2. If you add these two together, that is $17. So for ending inventory, we have 2 units left here, and we have 2 units on the 1st of March. So 2 units at $2, which is what we have here. Then the remaining 2 units at $1. So this will be 2 times 2, which is 4, and this will be 2 times 1, which is 2. If you add these two together, then that will be $6. Still on the same question, but now our focus is on the weighted average cost. On the 1st of March, we had 2 units at $1. That's 2 times 1, which is $2. Then on the 11th of March, additional 3 units, were purchased at $2. That will be 3 times 2, which is $6. Then on the 30th of March, 5 units were purchased at $3. So that will be 5 times 3, which is $15. If you add all of these together, you will have $23. But we are not done yet. We need to compute the total units. The total unit will be 10 units. If you add this plus this plus this. So to compute the weighted average cost, it would be $23 divided by the 10 unit from here, which is $2.3 per share. We are not done yet. Now it is time for us to compute the cost of goods sold. 6 units were sold. To compute the cost of goods sold, that will be 6 times the weighted average. The weighted average cost is 2.3 US dollars per share. And what do we have? What we have is 13.8 US dollars. We are still not done. We need to compute the ending inventory. Since we had a total unit of 10 units, that means we have 4 units left, and the 4 units would be at the weighted average cost. That would be 4 times 2.3, and that would give us 9.2 US dollars. On the previous slides, we computed the cost of goods sold and ending inventory under FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average cost. I have the solution summarized here, but for this slide, we're interested in computing the gross profit. If each of the 6 units sold was sold for $3 per unit, what is the gross profit? To compute the revenue, it will be 6 times 3. Since each of the units were sold for $3 per unit, that means the revenue would be $18. So whether you are using FIFO, LIFO, or weighted average costs, the revenue or the sales will be the same across board. The cost of goods sold is this. To compute the gross profit under FIFO, it would be the sales minus cost of goods sold, and that is 7. Under LIFO, it will be 18 minus 17, which is $1. Then under weighted average cost, it will still be 18, but now minus the cost of goods sold, which is 13.8, and that is $4.2. It is worth noting that among these 3 inventory valuation methods, FIFO recorded the highest gross profit and LIFO recorded the lowest gross profit. Weighted average cost is in between. The example here describes an inflationary environment where prices increase over time. On the 1st of March, the price of each unit of inventory was $1. Few days later, that's March 11, the price of each inventory had increased to $2. Few days later, by March 30th, the price increased to $3. So you would want to agree with me that the scenario painted here is in an inflationary environment. In an inflationary environment, I expect, from what we can see here, that the cost of goods sold would be highest under LIFO, and the cost of goods sold will be lowest under FIFO. Weighted average is always in between FIFO and LIFO. Also, still under inflationary environment, the ending inventory would be highest under FIFO and it will be lowest under LIFO. As I said earlier, weighted average will be in between FIFO and LIFO. The opposites of what I described here in terms of outcomes will be observed in a deflationary environment. In a deflationary environment, we would see prices decrease over time. In an inflationary environment, as I said on the previous slide, cost of goods sold is lowest under FIFO, but it is highest under LIFO. Ending inventory is highest under FIFO, but lowest under LIFO. Gross profit is highest under FIFO, but lowest under LIFO. The higher your profits, the higher your taxes. So if that is the case, since gross profit is highest under FIFO, then income taxes will also be highest under FIFO. Income taxes is lowest under LIFO. Weighted average cost is always in between. How do we remember this? A better way to remember this is from the perspective of FIFO. Think of FIFO as the method used by US firm and see it as the method used by US firm to reduce the income taxes that they pay. For income taxes to be low, that implies that gross profit will also be low, because for you to be paying lower taxes, that means you have made a lower gross profit. Keeping all things constant, if your gross profit is the lowest, that implies that your cost of goods sold will be the highest. The cost of goods sold would go in opposite direction to the ending inventory. So with this, you can come up with that of FIFO. Then weighted average is always in between FIFO and LIFO. Now moving on to a deflationary environment. In a deflationary environment, everything we have here is the opposite of what we have here.